and welcome back to the Kind of Athletic podcast. This is episode 24.
Heck yeah, it is.
The Griffey episode.
Just kidding.
Griffey
They're both
is
great.
not better than Kobe. I will argue that until the dying day. Got a lot going on. My name's Kellen.
I'm Sam, of course, the better one.
Phil is here. Phil
Yep.
is in person. He made the trip out this week to come visit the Pacific Northwest for the first time. Check it out. So
Heck yeah.
we figured, hey, he's here. Might as well put him on the podcast.
go for
Let
it.
him give him his glory day of talking about all the sports instead of just NASCAR. But again, like I said, busy week.
A lot going on.
Baseball's just getting going. The playoffs are tomorrow. We are currently watching the second game of the Mets and Atlanta. The Mets are in.
The finish was crazy last
that
game.
was
if
wild.
You didn't
And
see
now
it,
we're
8-6.
just
I
seeing
think
if they're
8-7
going
actually.
to score a run here. It looks like Atlanta
Yep,
just scored
Atlanta
actually,
just
which
came
is
ahead.
crazy. So now, right now, Atlanta is in. Arizona is out, but we will kind of keep going as long. We're only in the second inning, so we probably won't finish the game. Anyway, we'll keep going with that. We'll wrap up the Mariners season. Their season
yeah.
is done. College football we had going on week 5. The NFL is coming up. We will not be talking about the Seahawks this week because they play tonight, unless we make like a quick short or something on them maybe throughout the week.
Yep.
And then, of course, Phil is here to talk about NASCAR with us. Kansas was kind of a wild race.
Okay, dig is next, baby.
And then, we have Talladega Nights. Where's Ricky Bobby?
Seriously. I need a fire suit up here. Ricky Bobby.
We do. That'd be crazy.
I would totally wear it in Halloween.
That'd be actually really funny. I'd be so down to see
Halloween
that.
episode. That'd be awesome.
And then Halloween episode. And then we will wrap it up as always with a verse and a Christian athlete.
Yes, we will.
So we'll go straight into the Mariners season. I know this will be a little harder for Phil because Phil is not from the Pacific Northwest. He
We
does not
lost.
follow the Mariners as well.
It's
His
really
team
not
is
that hard to
in-
remember.
His
We
team
suck.
is in the playoffs. He's an Orioles fan, so he does get to
We
enjoy
did
the
go to a Mariners
postseason.
game, though, so he got to kind of experience the
Yeah.
highs and the
Well,
lows
yeah,
of what
we-
the Mariners are. So
He did go to the Saturday's game, so he did get to see us blow a lead and then walk off, which was fun. And then, Phil, I'll ask you really quick just to kind of get your say. What did you think about T-Mobile Park in Seattle,
Safeco.
kind of that area?
Just to
Safeco.
clarify.
How'd you like it?
Very nice. Very impressed with the facility overall. It's definitely different from Camden Yards. Camden Yards is more of a vintage stadium. It's kind of older. And T-Mobile Park was kind of designed after Camden Yards, like a lot of stadiums were. So it was cool to see the park and go and add to my list. I think I got like 7 or 8 now. So
There you go.
So I got a bunch to go, but
Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah, so obviously, like, that's the furthest one. I mean,
Yeah.
not the furthest, but it's like probably the hardest to get to because if you go to like LA, you can hit 2 and then go to San Diego or Oakland, or not
Yeah.
Oakland anymore, or San Francisco. You can kind of hit all of those. We're kind of in an island, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's nothing up here.
And you like the
besides us.
Pacific Northwest? Pretty
Oh,
cool,
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
different.
I'd come back.
There you go.
I would come back. So
And you got lucky with some really good weather this week.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
it
that
was
much.
shocking. It was a little cold, like a tiny bit cold. Not cold.
Fall
for, like,
is
super
definitely
cold,
around the
but
corner. You
yeah.
can tell the leaves are starting to change colors.
Yeah.
It's starting to fall. Obviously, it
a good
gets
time of
cold.
year.
It gets cold quick here. It's fun. There's
Fall's
definitely a
way
lot of
better
things
than
happening,
summer.
kind of going on.
Just to-
It's not better than the summer.
It's so much better.
It's not better than the summer. That's
Some
completely
people
false.
just have good opinions. Others don't. I mean,
But anyway, we will
I don't
keep
know.
going with the Mariners season
Yes.
review. Obviously, as we kind of talked about earlier in a couple episodes, was it disappointing? I say no, because this is where I basically
Yeah.
had them. How it happened this year has made it what disappointing. We had a 10-game lead. We
Yeah.
blew fastest team ever to blow it. We pretty much had the division, it seemed like, almost all year. And then towards like the back 3 months of the season, really kind of after the
absolutely
All-Star
sucked.
break, we kind of fell apart.
I think honestly, both of us, I'm pretty sure, had the Mariners finishing second, anyways.
Yeah. And fighting for a wild card.
Yeah,
That's what I
So
had.
we
them as.
had that. It was just more like you literally just said like how we got to that point was
Yeah.
so hard.
It's difficult to have a 10-game lead and then,
Not have it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Within like, what was it, 21
But-
days, 22 days?
It was the quickest ever. That's all
Yeah.
I remember.
But you were also in a division where the Astros have been in the ALCS for 7 years in a row.
Sure.
And they started
Yeah.
out like 9-20, and they came back and recovered. So
Yeah, and
That's
I agree
always
with
tough.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm
It
not
was-
disagreeing with that. I think the Astros are obviously, like, in my opinion, they could possibly be the team to beat in the AL. Like,
Oh, yeah.
They have the experience. They are that good of a team still.
and they got some pitching, which
And
they
they're
were,
getting, they're just getting
not
players
have.
back. Kyle Tucker's back. I think Alvarez is supposed to be back for the postseason at some point.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
But they are very good. I still think that the Mariners should have taken that step, and you kind of had, like, each team had that opportunity this year to dethrone them.
Yeah.
And Texas had a terrible year. The Angels, banged up still again as always, but had a bad year. Oakland, we kind of expected it. The Mariners really should have taken advantage. The things that I looked over, obviously some of this is hindsight, like 2020. Mariners should have made a managing change sooner. I honestly have told everyone, if you know me well enough, I thought Scott Servais should have been gone before the year started. I was over him. He's at 8. He was at 9 years this year,
something like that.
Made the playoffs once. And I'm one of those guys like I don't really care. You can make the playoffs 9 straight years as a manager, but if you can't win, I'm like,
what are you gonna do?
Time for a change. There's something going on. Like I said, which is easier to say than say now, because obviously we saw that Dan Wilson went I think he went 21 or 22-13 in his tenure as manager, so he was a winner.
It's hard. I mean, we also got a lot of stuff back, and we were also playing very well just as soon as Scott Servais left.
Yeah.
I mean, the addition of Edgar Martinez obviously helped the offense.
That was a massive change.
So, I mean, how much is that really on Dan Wilson? I mean, I'm not discounting him, but just to
sure. I mean,
overall,
Dan,
obviously he brought something to the clubhouse. Players like
that's
him.
what I was gonna say.
I mean, but it's tough. That's just a tough one. And then it's like Grady Sizemore with the White Sox.
Yeah.
Like, really, what are you going to say? Mm-hmm. Like, yes, he had a horrible team, but is he really going to make an impact? I don't know. Sure. I mean, it's just a tough span.
The real question for you guys is I don't really know. I don't follow the team, but are they going to keep the general manager that was?
So Dipoto is stuck for another year. They signed him for one more year.
That's the same.
And like I've said with anyone, Dipoto's fine. Dipoto, like on paper going into this year, Mitch Garver was a great signing. Mitch Haniger should have been. I mean, Mitch Haniger was probably about where I thought he was going to be.
Should have been fine.
But like the sign, Jorge Polanco should have been better than what he was. The players that we signed, Cal Raleigh should have had a better year. Now I know Sam said he had a fine year. He was fine. He should have been better. He should be batting 230, 240. That's where he should be with the same 100 RBIs and 30 plus home runs. Julio had a super down first half of the year.
He just sucked.
He was so good the last month and a half after he kind of came back from his injury. Yeah. So I don't blame Dipoto at all. He put a very, very good roster together. He put the best pitching staff in all of baseball together by a mile. The bullpen, we lost 2 of our best arms. Only one of them came back towards the end of the year. We'll have them both back next year.
He didn't even honestly see the field very much. Santos didn't do anything for us. But
so to me, Dipoto's not the one to blame at all. I think Scott Servais, there was something in the clubhouse where he was very just content with what was happening. And I think Dan Wilson kind of fired everyone up. Dan Wilson, obviously, ex-player, in the Mariners Hall of Fame. He's been to the playoffs a couple times with us. I think actually every time besides the 2021 year or whatever. Yeah. I think he's been to all 3 of the other ones.
95, 97, and 2001. I think technically 96. I don't remember.
I think there was a wild card in there too. But yeah, so I think he knows how to get there. Edgar Martinez is arguably one of the best hitters in baseball ever. I mean, there's an award named after him, so you got to put him in the top 5, I would think. That's the Edgar Martinez Designated Hitter Award. He's,
it's pretty dang good.
He's probably the best DH besides David Ortiz, which I'm totally okay to give you that. Maybe Ohtani in the next, I'd give Ohtani a year or 2, and then I'd probably say, yeah, probably. But that's what I had. So it was, you can't say that Dan Wilson was bad. I think they keep him. I don't see why you wouldn't. I also have heard so many rumors and read so many things that Dipoto is very controlling. So having someone like Dan Wilson stuck in there might be something you like. But that's what I had. And then, of course, we talked about it. Julio came on really late. We didn't really have any major injuries, so there's no excuse there.
Matt Brash was the only one that was the
out for the year. Yeah. And that sucked because Matt Brash is
very good.
Such a good reliever, whether he's a closer or reliever. Now I think he'll be the 8th man guy next year. But I mean, you could switch him off too with Munoz because Munoz was. If Clase didn't exist, Munoz might be the closer of the year. I don't know all of them from the NL or whatever, but he was very good. You had JP get hurt for a little bit. Julio got hurt for a little bit. Castillo got hurt at the very end of the year, but they weren't anything major.
No.
I also found it very interesting because, to me, JP should never came back up, but that's my opinion. Kind of some other things that I had going. 1,625 strikeouts, led the league.
Didn't break the record, though.
No, the record, but we were about 22 away. Or no, we were 22 up from last year. We were 10 away from the record. And that was the main thing.
Yeah.
So most teams had about 3 to 4 players. I was kind of looking through this on average with over 100 strikeouts. We had Cal Raleigh at 176, Julio at 156, Polanco at 137, Raleigh, excuse me.
Up there.
No, he wasn't even play enough. Raley was at 135, Haniger 126, Dylan Moore at 123. There were 2 or 3 other ones, like Rojas was at 101, but I just put it to them. We had 7 or 8 guys. So our average was up. Positives, The pitching staff was really good, and Cal
Yeah.
Raleigh broke the home run record for the most home runs in the first 4 years as a catcher.
Yeah.
He broke Mike Piazza's record, which is
94?
pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's what it was. That's kind of cool. Otherwise, again, it's disappointing to say the least. The Mariners should be in the playoffs. They have a playoff. They have the best rotation in all of baseball. Anyone
do.
can argue with me. I don't really care. I've heard rumors that we're going to have more money for in-house.
I've heard that too, but
I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Like, does that just mean, okay, we're going to re-sign everyone
honestly,
and run it back?
all I think it is we're just going to keep the team we have. I don't think it's going to mean that we're going to go out and make a splash in free agency. If we sign anybody, it'll be like a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
But we're not going to
unless
sign
you're able
anybody.
to put a trade together, which there are the rumors of the Castillo and Gilberts have been rumored, but I think that if you can re-sign those guys, you keep them. Gilbert obviously had a perfect game on Sunday, yesterday, going into the 6th inning, and then it got broken up against the A's. Bryce Miller and Brian Wu were like some of the 2 best young pitchers ever. Like, I don't know what the stat, but I know it was something crazy where they're like both under.
Honestly, if
both
Brian
under
Wu
3 RA
would have
they'd all
played the
healthy.
whole year, it would have been a lot.
Yeah, that was kind of an injury.
It just
I
kind
forgot
of
about too.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
Emerson
like 4 or
Hancock
5
was
starts.
fine. Like, it was fine, but we all know what Emerson Hancock is.
Yeah, well, we know what
5
Brian
to
Wu
6
is.
innings, 400
Yeah.
runs. That's
So-
pretty much what you're going to get.
So anyway, it was a rough year. I think, to me, I think if they struggle next year, you'll start to see like sell shirts come out. Like, I genuinely do. I think that the team will want the ownership to sell. So.
Yeah, I think the one thing I was going to say, as far as additions this year, I think Robles was huge. I think that's going to be good for next season. I think that's going to be a huge addition to the
sure.
outfield.
Right.
I think
And
Rosa
Rosarena
Reyna, if
could
he
be.
doesn't become a trade piece, I think that's a pretty solid outfield. Wouldn't honestly make too many changes to that. The biggest thing that I think we need to add is either a second baseman or a third baseman. I think you can choose whichever one you want, whichever you can get better. Because I think Robles can play, or not Robles, Rojas can play wherever.
And I like Rojas.
So if you pick up a third baseman, put Rojas at second.
I
Like,
still think
I'm
you
fine
have to
with
get
that.
a shortstop. I think a
I
shortstop.
understand why. I just don't think they're going to do it.
No,
That's
and
where
I think you have.
I think second base and third base is the
Yeah.
only realistic thing they're going to actually make a change
Totally.
at.
You know what I think
But-
they should do?
What?
I think down the road, if this manager doesn't work out, I think they should put Edgar Martinez as the manager. Why not?
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants that. That's
I
the
don't even
thing.
think he really
But
wants
I
to
agree.
be-
I would.
Yeah.
I would be okay with it. But I don't think. Edgar's kind of talked about being like, I don't want to. There was a reason why he was our hitting
Yeah,
coach
he was
for
like
like
a
3
19
years
or
and then
something
left.
Yeah, that's what makes me
So
nervous about.
yeah.
Like, I'm so happy we improved as an offense, but I don't think Edgar's going to stay.
I think Edgar.
So-
Well, yeah, but I think Edgar. I think he also left because of Scott Service. Like, I think that
Maybe, I don't know,
the coaching staff that was working with
yeah.
Edgar didn't agree. And that's what I think. But
That's
I don't
fair.
know. I think you obviously we were ranked the best farm system in baseball. We have a lot of really good pitchers
Colt
coming
Emerson,
up.
Cole Young.
Great
I think it's
infield
Ty
coming in.
Young is another one.
I think
can't
so. And then
remember,
there's
but
obviously the 19-year-old.
Celestian.
Yeah,
I can never
there's-
remember his last name, but
who are
Something like
top rated guys. And so to me, I'm like, spring training, you're going to give these guys the chance to play
Yeah.
in the infield and see where they go and what they do. I think why am I blanking on Cole Emerson? Is Emerson? Cole? What's his name?
Colt Emerson.
Yeah, Colt. That's
Yeah.
not Cole. I think he's going to be starting the year at second. I think Polanco will be gone, and
We'll
I think
see,
Rojas
yeah.
stays at third. Obviously, I say JP should go because he's had 2 pretty bad years back to back now.
Last year was really good.
No, it was 2 years ago. It was really good. Last year he was like very poor. It was 2 years ago. He was like 270 with.
I will look it up.
I'm pretty sure it was 2 years.
It was
ago.
last year.
No way.
Well, you guys should be
Promise.
excited about the farm system because I know the Orioles were bad for many years, and we were like the number 1 farm system in the league for a good while, and now we got all our guys
266
up.
last year.
And it's very rewarding
doesn't
when
know
you
baseball.
see guys come through the minors and
Sure.
come up and or actually
And
produce.
No, and I agree with you. And I think that there is a ton of like
We have a lot of
there's-
potential.
There's so much potential, and the
But-
hardest thing is like
That's the hard part.
you look at
potential.
like, okay, Gunnar Henderson. He's great. Gunnar Henderson is what we've talked about this. He's a top 5 shortstop in the league already at 23. Like, he's that good. He's that guy. He's going to be one of your corner pieces. Adley Rutschman, we all knew was going to be good, literally no matter what. But then you also have like Jackson Holiday, where you look at it, he's touted to be the thing, and he has done nothing
been
yet.
fine.
He'll probably be
But,
okay.
yeah.
He'll-
20 years old.
I understand that.
And if you look, I always talk to you about Colton Cowser. He was terrible last year.
No, I agree with you.
Went through an off season, came back. I think Jackson Holiday is going to have that same opportunity to come back.
That's
next
completely
year.
fair.
And he's going to. I think he's going to be a lot better than next year.
I don't. He can't get any worse.
Why?
But you also look at it and go, Dustin Ackley was the greatest college hitter of all time, and we had him on our team, and he literally did nothing.
Was horrible.
Did
Actually,
nothing for
he
the
had,
Mariners.
like, 1 year.
We had Justin Smoke, who was supposed to be the next big bat. Jesus Montero, he was the top prospect in the Yankees
Mike
organization.
Zunino.
Mike Zunino. Like
Yeah.
Brad Miller was supposed to be way better than he was. Chris Taylor's the only one we really traded, and he turned out to be something else besides Ketel Marte.
I was just about to say him.
But we've gone through like 8 or 9 literally top 10 prospects in all of baseball, and they've done nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Jackson Holiday is going to be bad. Like, I don't
Julio's
know.
the one that's panned out as of late. But
100%.
Julio has those problems.
And like even like look at like Jared Kelenic, who I loved, whatever. And I thought he should stay. I thought you should give him more time. He's on the Braves, and he's probably not going to play on the playoff team. So I'm not saying Jackson Holiday is going to be bad, but I'm saying the hype behind prospects in baseball is so
it's insane,
overwhelming and overdone to me. Because you look at like basketball, and it's like I know for a fact that I'm going to blank on his name now at Duke. I know where he is. He's going to Duke as a freshman. He's going to be good in the NBA. He just is. Victor Wembanyama, you just know he's going to be good. Like at basketball, it's so much harder to honestly be like a top 5 pick and flop. It's so much rarer. Baseball is one of those sports where I feel like Sam could be the best touted guy in the world, and now look at him. Like, this is how quick baseball can be.
The transition
It's
from
so
AAA to
harder.
MLB is way different than like say college basketball to NBA basketball.
Sure.
Not that it's not different, but
Comparisons are also a big thing with prospects. I feel like
Totally.
Jackson Holiday wasn't Matt Holiday's son. He would not be as hyped.
Well,
as
and
he
if you
is.
didn't compare Jackson Holiday to Cal Ripken Jr. or whoever it is, you're comparing these people. You know, Julio
crazy.
Rodriguez is the next Ken Griffey Jr. No one will be the next Ken Griffey Jr. Mike Trout, it might not even become the next Ken Griffey Jr. Like, that's how hard it is to live up to some of these guys' shoes that they put him in. To where I agree with you, Jackson Holiday could be a 1 or 2 time All-Star and a pretty solid. You know, he might win a Gold Glove. That's a darn good career.
Yeah.
But everyone has him hyped up to be like 4-time MVP, batting title, blah blah, and it's like,
maybe not.
he might not. That could be Gunnar Henderson, who I've never heard of until he started playing.
Just remember that baseball is probably the hardest sport to play.
100%. No, that's what I'm saying.
Ask Deion Sanders. He said, when he played baseball and football at the
that's
same
fair.
time. He said someone asked him which was harder, and he said,
whole
hitting a fastball is
the
like
hardest thing to
to do. So
Thanks for listening to the Kind of Athletic podcast. Please like and subscribe to all our social media platforms, and make sure to come back to hear more from the Kind of Athletic podcast.